Hello and welcome. My name is Mariya Russell, and I just want to kind of explain to you who I am and why I'm here, like what I'm doing here. So first of all, I do want to pronounce my name. So it is Mariya, like Mario, but with an A instead of an O. And I've been saying that since I was a kid because nobody really knows how to say my name. And that's okay. If you said it wrong in the past, now you know what it is. Mariya, Mariya, Mariya. There you go. Second of all, I am a chef. I loved cooking. I've loved cooking ever since I was, just a little girl. And, I first started by getting in the kitchen with my family members and of course like watching stuff on TV, and I just loved it. It was a really good, I don't know, it just made me feel really good to kind of give back, but also like share in these really special moments with the people that I loved. And breaking bread together is just a really important part of life for me. It's love and community and life. So while I was trying to kind of figure out what I wanted to do with my life in high school, like which direction I should go, it was really hard for me. I was very quiet, and I kept to myself. I didn't have many friends. I didn't like school. I hated school. And so I had no idea what I was going to do. And then my mom helped me to focus, on the things that I love and the things that I like doing. And there was also an opportunity for me to go to like a career academy. So you could pick, what thing you wanted to focus on as a junior in high school and, do that and be that while you were taking high school classes. So there was a restaurant that was open to the public, inside of the high school, and there was a chef, teacher, and all that stuff, and it was called the Jazz Street Cafe, and we wore these little polo shirts that said Jazz Street Cafe on and it was just I loved it. It was a great experience. I learned a lot. I enjoyed cooking and cooking for people and learning, all of the history behind the things that I was doing, and I just really enjoyed it. So that's how it all really started. I went to culinary school in Chicago and started working in restaurants after that experience. And the one thing that I think is really funny is that in culinary school, they don't really teach you how to be a cook or what to expect in a restaurant environment or any of that stuff. So the transition from being, a culinary student to working in an actual restaurant was pretty jarring. There was no real warning of what that was going to be like, what that transition was going to be like. And so I just kind of went with it. It was difficult. It was very difficult at first. Like, it took me a long time to find a job. It took me 6 months to find a job out of culinary school, because the person that hires you and knows that you were just, you're just out of culinary school, they know that they're gonna have to spend a lot of time with you, showing you the ropes, showing you everything that you need to know to do this job and to be good at it. So someone has to take a chance on you and has to know that this is going to take time for this person to be molded into a good cook. After that, I definitely acclimated. I was, because I kind of had been introduced in high school into what a restaurant would be like, but not anything real. And I was just, constantly surrounded by people that were way older than me, mostly very large men, just in these spaces that, you know, you wouldn't normally see someone like me. This like little petite, I had a shaved head at the time, you know, very short hair, hot pink chef coat. Just ready, but so I was just very like excited about being in this new situation. It was also very scary, and you know, I'm very anxious and anxiety prone, and so being able to, you know, continue in a very high stress environment because I loved it. I really loved it, and I had really wonderful teachers and people that, you know, the first chef that I worked for out of culinary school, he always told me, you know, that I need to be better than everybody around me all the time. And that really stuck with me forever. Like, I just always worked very, very hard to know everything I needed to know to get the job done. And so I worked my way up in a lot of restaurants around Chicago, and so in culinary school they didn't really explain, you know, what a kitchen could look like or be like, or, you know, that it could kind of be a grimy, you could kind of be in a really dark, grimy situation. You know, it's a very over glamorized profession in a lot of ways. You know, like you go into it thinking that it's going to be something that you see on television or similar to something that you do in your own home, and it is not. It really isn't. And that's why I think it's really important for, you know, people trying to choose a career path to understand that it's not always going to be what you think it is. And I'm sure that applies to a lot of professions, to most professions. You know, it might not always be what it seems. Even with your schedule, you know, like I remember, you know, the first restaurant I was working at, and just like working a lot and just having like so many burns on my arms, and just going through that initial phase of like transition into something that is not for everybody, you know. Working 12 to 16-hour days most of my career, and you know, just not really knowing that at the beginning, and still just being like, I love this, like I love doing this. It takes me to a place in my mind where I'm just focused on what I'm doing. It's like meditation, and it's really great. Transition from student to cook was not easy, but I definitely knew that it was worth it. At least for me, I really knew that, you know, learning this stuff so fast and picking up these new skills and remembering them and, you know, spitting them back, being able to do exactly what I was shown, you know, consistency and execution are two of the most important things when you're working in professional kitchens, in my opinion. And I honestly always felt like very safe in the environments that I, you know, surrounded myself in and put myself into. And if I didn't, I just would reassess and figure out, you know, what my next steps were. I was always very much so focused on, you know, the things that I wanted to do next, or, you know, if I felt like I wasn't growing anymore or learning anymore at a place, I would just kind of, you know, reassess and figure out what the next steps were if there wasn't any room for growth. You know, reassessing, asking myself questions like, is this worth it? Is this worth the, you know, amount that I'm upset? Or is this worth my time? Am I learning a lot? Am I growing a lot? These are questions that, I would ask myself in restaurant situations if I wasn't happy there. Like, what are the next steps? So that's also just been a really important part of my journey, following my heart in the things that I can get behind. I want to be able to be behind this person, be behind this chef 100%, because I know that I'm going to be spending a lot of my time here. And so I'm investing my time and my skills in the things that I support. I just think it's really important to make sure, if you are doing something that you enjoy, and you're working really, really hard, and it's hard, you also make sure that you want to be there. Like, it's somewhere you want to spend your time. It's people you want to spend your time with, because this is your life. Point blank period. This is your life. And you also have to remember, yes, you have a passion, but you also have to remember that your mental health is very, very important. And yes, there are times that I did not make sure that was the case for myself, but I did that. And if I can help someone else not do that, then here we are. I think it's very, very important also for you to work hard, but you need to learn how to take care and nurture yourself at the same time. And yes, these things are not easy, but to live a life of love and fulfillment and happiness needs to include your own needs. Okay? So I've been working in professional kitchens for half of my life. I started cooking probably when I was 16 or 17, and I am now 32. And there's nothing I would change. Well, the only thing I would change was making sure that I was taking care of myself more. That's definitely one thing. But, where I spent my time, the people I've met, and also just mentorship is such a huge part of the restaurant industry. Like having someone take their time to teach you what you need to know to help them succeed and help the whole team succeed and help you grow into the things, into who you want to be, into the chef and cook you want to be. It's a huge part of this community, and I'm very, very grateful for it. Like, there's so many people that I've crossed paths with that, man, I would not be sitting in this place without them. And I'll put some of their names below because I love them so much, and they've had such a huge impact on my life. But that's another reason why I was drawn to this industry, is because of, just the love and community that you can be surrounded with. Of course, there's the other side of this coin that isn't so great, but a lot of people that I met and crossed paths with, that I cooked with, that were my chef, I will never ever forget, and I still keep in contact with to this day. So community in this industry is very, very important. You never know when you might, need someone or need something, or not even just that, like just having someone to talk to about, what you should do next, or, you know, having someone to talk to is really important, you know, in an industry like this one. So if you have a desire to work in this industry and you haven't done anything in this industry, I do suggest highly to find someone that is working in this industry and has done a lot of stuff in the industry, that's willing to take their time and show you the ropes. But one of the most recent jobs that has had the biggest impact on, you know, who I am today and, you know, where I am today is my job in Chicago as, you know, opening chef de cuisine at Kimiko and Kiko, which is, you know, sister restaurant to 2 Michelin star Oriole in Chicago and a Japanese inspired cocktail bar that, you know, Small Bites upstairs, and did have a tasting menu space downstairs called Kiko, and I, you know, wrote the menus and did all the chef things there. That experience allowed me to be recognized, you know, by my peers in Chicago and the restaurant community there, and just in the world, because there is where we received the Michelin star in the tasting menu space in the basement. And I am the first Black woman to ever earn or receive a Michelin star, which has been quite, that's my dog running around. It has been quite the journey to processing that whole, all of that. It has been quite the journey. It's starting to get very hot over here. It's so hot. I would have not been able to do any of that without the wonderful team that I had, you know, and I think it's really important to acknowledge the people that are working with and for you, because without them, where would you be? You can't do these things by yourself, you know. You can't do these things by yourself. Shout out to Kara and Noah Sandoval. If you haven't ever been to Oriole in Chicago, you really need to check it out. It's definitely one of the best places in the entire world. I am just very happy that I had the team that I did and the support that I did. And so the summer before any of that recognition, my husband and I put in our 1-year notice. So I was, you know, feeling this pull to kind of make a change, you know, because just kind of waking up, going to work, coming home, going to sleep, waking up, going to work, coming home, going to sleep. You know, I was just kind of getting to a place where I was feeling like life is more than this. Life is more than this. I feel like, you know, the things that I'm capable of doing and the things that I know can be used in a bigger way. And it's just time for a change. It's time for a change, you know. And I'm the type of person that will just literally work, and just not stop and be very critical of myself and while I'm doing that. And, you know, that has a lot to do with working in restaurants for so long and being a perfectionist, you know, for so long. It makes you see the world in a certain way. And I was just kind of wanting to see the world a different way, from a different angle. And I was also just getting kind of further and further away from, you know, why I started doing this in the first place. And yes, I wanted to be the best, and I wanted to be, you know, really good and love what I was doing, and I did that. But I also wanted more of the give and take. I wanted more of the give and take, you know, the me giving of myself and the things that I love doing on a plate, me giving that. I wasn't getting back what I needed, you know, to myself and for myself to be able to put all these things on a plate and, you know, do all of these things that I was doing. And so my husband and I decided that it was time to move on. And of course, like, not long after that, the pandemic started and restaurants were closed, and so we didn't even really get to finish out the year, and it was just so weird and awkward because we couldn't go see people. And now we live in Hawaii. My husband and I, we've worked together a few times and plan on working together in this life. And yeah, that dynamic has grown so much, and you know, it can be really hard because we're different people, of course. So we now live in Hawaii, and it's been a really great place to kind of reset and just figure out what our next steps are, and you know, where to go next and what we want to do specifically and where. But in that transitional period of us having our own thing and doing our own thing, I want to create a space, a safe space for people to be able to gain, you know, very fundamental, foundational knowledge of how to cook and, you know, what things to use, and just share my philosophies and perspective on food. I think us as human beings, just in general, are a little bit too distant from the things that we're eating and putting in our bodies. And I want to help us to get back to those you know, basic fundamentals in the form of cooking and food, because I feel like cooking is one of the ways that we are going to get back, you know, to those very fundamental things of taking care of the earth and knowing where our food comes from and things like that. So I also want to help change the narrative around, you know, what a chef can be and look like, because it's not just one thing at all, not at all. There are so many different kinds of chefs out there, and I want to help people understand that we are not all the same. We are not all the same. And I want to be able to help someone, you know, have that very foundational knowledge to be able to start from the beginning. So I'm starting from the very beginning. You know, the first video I made is about knives and how to have your own preference around knives, because honestly, you really need a knife to to get things done around the kitchen. And so I'm gonna just start from the beginning, because I was just like, how do you even begin with something like this? And I was kind of overwhelming myself over and over again just about the things that I know and how to organize that in a way and put it out that makes, you know, in a way that makes sense. And I was just like, oh, you start from the beginning, you know, you start from the beginning. And so that's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm doing. I hope that I'm able to, you know, help people reconnect with the very thing that keeps us alive. And I also just kind of want to share this transitional phase in my life, and you know, it's a lot of feelings that I've never experienced, and a lot of newness, and you know, a lot of unknown uncertainties, a lot of all the things. So I also want to be here and kind of share what that experience is like as a chef, just, you know, creating your own way out of past experiences. And I really believe that surrounding yourself, you know, with the things that you love, and doing what you love doing is only gonna make your life more and more of what you want it to be, and make you more and more of who you want to be as a person. And food is that for me. And just, you know, I've really been like digging really deep and leaning into who I am and the things that I love, and that's really helping me, you know, shape the things that I want to do in the past. I mean, that's really helping me shape the things that I want to do in the future and what my food is like today. So I hope this helped you get a better understanding of who I am and what I'm here for. And yeah, enjoy your day. I hope it's beautiful. And I hope to see you here. I hope to see you here soon. And I want you to feel like, you know, you're sitting here with me having a conversation. You know, like I want you to feel like I am in your home helping you understand these things. And I am, you know, we're close. I want you to feel close to me. Ask me questions. I will gladly answer them. And feel free to interact with me as well. So please like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, that's all I got. So I hope to see you very soon.